So what we want to do now is going to play what he had to say. It's not long, the sound. And then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to that there.
Too many people are not touching on the truth. Melo and D-Wade did. Me and LeBron don't have a relationship. LeBron don't mess with me and I don't mess with him. I respect the hell out of him. He's number 2 on the list all time. And I didn't always feel this way about him. There are times I didn't like how he treated black media. I'm not talking about myself because I'm on a certain level and I watched how others got treated and I didn't like that. But it didn't take away from his unquestionable greatness, his deified status that he has earned as one of the top 2 or 3 greatest players in the history of basketball. And I never deviate from that. I've always been kind to his family. I think his wife is the first lady of the NBA, class personified. I think his mom is an absolutely wonderful woman. I don't have to talk to Randy much. That's a good brother. Rich Paul and me are pretty damn cool. Rich is good people. So I'm cool with Mav as well. And various other people. But me and LeBron, we don't roll like that. High and by. He ain't have much use for me, and I damn sure don't have much use for him.
So you heard what he had to say. Now, I just want to get a few things out the way. I'm assuming that Stephen A. Smith is referring to something that took place early on in LeBron's career. And with that being said, at that time, I wasn't talking sports. We started talking basketball late 2019, 2020, right? We didn't really get into it. So I was just following like a regular fan. I didn't know anything about this, right? I didn't know anything about this. For God's sakes, YouTube started in 2005. So wasn't nobody even talking about this, probably people. So I think it's something that people that covered the NBA, that worked in the NBA, would know what Stephen A. Smith is talking about specifically. So what he is specifically referring to, I am unsure because, or rather I'm unclear about, because he didn't give any specific cases of it. Now, it is important to say this, however, that I have seen certain people point out something that they have noticed that they don't like about LeBron in terms of media. This is not what I said. This is what they said. And I think even one of their friends said it. As you guys know, LeBron seldom talks sports in terms of going on outlets and talking basketball. He doesn't do it. But or being interviewed in general. But from time to time, he does. And at one point, Draymond Green had his podcast, I think the Draymond Green Show. And some people were saying, I think even Draymond asked LeBron to be on the show. And LeBron obviously didn't go on Draymond Green's show. But then he made a guest appearance on the Kelsey brothers show, right? He went on there. And people were like, damn, LeBron went on Kelsey's show, but he couldn't even go on Draymond's show. And then, of course, he had the podcast with JJ Redick. And they're like, damn, he ain't going on anybody else's show, no love anywhere else, just to JJ Redick and Kelsey. So there are some, because I heard people talking about it. We never spoke about it. We never talked about it. But I do remember people saying like, yo, he's only going to these white platforms or collaborating with white people. Why isn't he jacking like the other shows, like the Draymond Green show, or maybe Gil's Arena, or wherever else? I don't know, all the other various podcasts, maybe Paul George's show at the time, or maybe Carmelo Anthony's show. Why is he only going on these guys' shows? Now, something that's worth saying, okay? I just want to probably look at it from the vantage point of, let me see, Kelsey Brothers podcast deal. Yes, so I think it's important that we say this as well. Let's look at it from the vantage point of LeBron himself. LeBron is the biggest NBA player in the world. He's one of the most popular athletes in the world. So if you're looking at it from the vantage point, and I know it doesn't, my example doesn't work across the board, but if you're looking at it from the example of LeBron is saying to himself, well, I'm LeBron James, okay? And therefore, I want to go on the biggest shows. If I'm going to go on a podcast, it will be the biggest podcast. In this case, Going on the Kelsey brother show, they have a huge deal. They got a 3-year agreement worth reported $100 million for their podcast, right? $100 million. Pretty big deal. So he's like, I'll probably go on a big podcast, right? But then some could say, well, JJ Redick doesn't have a big deal and other, so why'd you go on his show? So I get that. But I think it's important that we point that out. Now, I have seen LeBron on another show, which featured Richard Jefferson. There was a white lady there and somebody else, but I don't remember the show. Is it Road Trippin' or The Truck or Struck? Whatever, the show. I've seen him there. I remember that some years ago. So I'm not ready to kind of take it to the place where some people may say, oh, maybe LeBron he got something against the brothers or whatever. I don't have enough evidence for that, but also it's not something I've thought about enough to really sit down and say, if there's smoke, there's fire there, right? I don't know that.